Hello, I'm Mike Ryan. I'm the Chief Networking Officer at PIMS, and welcome to our second season of Minutes with Mike. Now in my 33rd year at PIMS, I've had the privilege of partnering with companies both large and small, supporting their PR and marketing through customized fulfillment and distribution that delivers measurable impact on their brand perception, boosts positive affinity, and fuels their overall brand performance. And throughout my career, I've had the chance to work alongside many talented folks. This is their story. On this show, we'll sit down with some of the world's top marketing and business thought leaders to learn more about their success, how they got there, how marketing helped them achieve their goals, what strategies they used, and what inspires them. Please join me on this journey as we learn from those who are changing the way we think about business. So sit back, enjoy. You're listening to Minutes with Mike. So welcome everybody to Minutes with Mike. Of course, I'm Mike Ryan, and with us today we have Julia Perez, who's the CMO of OWYN. Welcome, Julia.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Do people ever mispronounce it and say OWN or OWYN?
All the time. Yes, all the time. But that's not, the most important thing is that it's only what you need. But yes, it is. You said it the right way, OWYN, like the name.
I will never forget it because I don't know if I've ever shared this with you, but I have 4 children and my youngest son's name is Owen. And
there you go. You'll never forget.
There's a funny Owen story about PIMS at OWYN that maybe I did share with you at first, but the way that we were introduced to your company is we saw an advertisement either on a bus that went by or some kind of billboard or something, and it caught my eye, of course, because of my son, and that's how we came to know you guys and reach out to you originally. So really cool little sales technique there where I connected my son with a company and boom, there we go.
Love that.
We have worked with your company for some time now, and it's a wonderful company. And we're going to get into all the nuances of the company and how things run over there. But I wanted to talk to you about you a little bit and how it came to pass that you got the job at OWYN and where you started. And you're Miami based, is that correct?
Yes, I'm Miami based, but I'm originally from New York, which is a little part of the OWYN story.
Love it. So let's get into that a little bit. So maybe you could start us off in the beginning, like where did you get your formal education and how did it come to pass? Because I did a little research on you and I saw that you were kind of like into the whole fashion world to start with, and then somehow it segued into protein-based drinks. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So back, I grew up in like the Hills millennial era, the Hills, Laguna Beach, like where everyone wanted to be in fashion. I always knew that I loved fashion. I still do. But, as I was getting my education and I went to what we would call like a fashion school, it's fashion dominant. It's very well known for textiles and fashion, Philadelphia University. And I started to learn about really like the unsexy side of fashion, like the labor practices and supply chain. And I realized like, I actually don't love this. And I don't love pulling apart fabric and understanding the drape of clothing. Like what I love is the people. What makes them buy? How do they feel when they are purchasing something new? What music are they listening to? What vibe are they trying to put out there into the world? And I realized that I have more of an interest in marketing and maybe not fashion. So more style, like what does style say about you, trends? So I knew pretty quickly. And I was also really, I have the @ sign tattooed on my wrist because it's always been, sharing my life on social media has always been, it has always come easy to me. Yeah. And it's always been like a pillar of who I am, expressing myself digitally. So, I was naturally pretty good at social media from the early ages, early adopter. Yeah. And then I got into like had many internships in school. I grew up about an hour outside of New York City. So I had that, advantage to have those internships every summer, taking the train and commuting in and, learning from that. My first job in beverage marketing was at Red Bull. I was a Red Bull girl. So field marketing, promotional marketing, that was kind of my entrance into beverage. Learned a lot there. My first job out of college was actually somewhere I interned. It was a boutique marketing agency. And my job there was to, bridge the gap between brands and influencers before influencers was even a part of the vocabulary. Back then it was bloggers and, we didn't know what to do with them. So I learned really early on, crazy times. So my role there was really to come up with the strategy of like, how do we get this blogger to promote our products? It was everything, I worked in a number of brands, everything from like Kmart fashion and Wet Seal to higher end like Louis Vuitton and Redken and DKNY and Earth's Best, Maranatha, Arrowhead Mills, which are brands under the Hanes Celestial umbrella. And that is where I really learned that I love CPG and I love wellness. And I actually had more fun working with like the mommy bloggers for like a gluten-free cake rather than like the fashion bloggers. So I learned quickly that's where I wanted to go.
It's funny how this industry of ours changes on a dime, right? Like, so I'm old enough to remember the first time that somebody ever called on PIMS and said, I know back then everything was media driven, right? It was all newspapers and TV, radio. And somebody said, we want you to send something to an influencer. And do you have a list of influencers we could send to? And we were like, influencer. It seems like 100 years ago, but in relative terms, it was yesterday, right? It just changes all the time. And the way that we do our marketing strategies, of course, tie into that. I know with OWYN, you guys are killing it, right? It seems to be everywhere I look, and everything I see and hear and taste is just wonderful. It's just a wonderful product that you're doing really well with. Tell me a little bit about how you got involved with OWYN. How did you start there?
Yeah. So originally I'm from New York, lived in the city, and I think it was like 2018, I was working at Core Water. So we were in, beverage, startup, CPG, like same industry. I saw the brand at Expo West, tried it, loved it. It was the first Expo West. I met my now boss for like 5 minutes and I was like, I love this product. It's amazing. But I was really happily employed at Core Water. But I kept drinking the product for years and, many years later down the road, I reached out to our now CEO and was like, here's my resume. I'd love to explore, anything. I'm kind of looking. We got on the phone and yeah, serendipity.
Awesome. So, one of the things that attracted me to this product or the products that you guys have is, the weight management thing that ties into it too. So I'm a big dude. I like to think that I eat right, but truth be told, like I don't eat fast food, but the foods I eat might not be the right foods, and I might be eating too much and too little. And in the OWYN products that I have, that I read, it tells you obviously the dietary supplements that go into it, or the dietary exchanges that tie into the product itself. But it's wonderful to have all in one place. And you could talk to this a little bit, sort of a meal in a bottle, right? Like I can have that instead of having breakfast. I can have that as sort of an on-the-go drink versus some sugar-based drink that I might grab, or coffee with tremendous amount of caffeine in it, or something that I think is relatively healthy until you look at the ingredients, and then you find out you're the farthest thing from that. And with OWYN, with only what you need and nothing you don't, I love that part of it too. It's almost guaranteed that you're doing the right thing. So talk a little bit about that whole weight management aspect of the product.
Absolutely. I mean, you brought up a good point. You said, I like to think I'm eating healthy. And that's really how OWYN began. So the founding team members were really passionate about creating a product that united great taste with transparency. There's a real transparency issue in the food industry, the CPG industry today. And I think the worst thing you can do to a consumer is market something one way, but really sneak certain ingredients in. I think it's very different than when you're consenting. Like, let's say I'm consenting to eat a burger or pizza and ice cream, and I do those things, but I'm making that choice, right? It's a conscious decision. So transparency is, really the root of our DNA. And it means so much more than just being honest about what's inside of our products. It's really the standard. We are an allergy-free brand or an allergy-friendly brand. So we're top 9 allergen-free. And what that means is we're third-party tested for the top 9 most common allergens: wheat, soy, dairy, eggs, nuts, tree nuts, fish, shellfish, sesame. So those are the top 9. And we third-party test for those because there's cross-contamination on lines quite often. And, if you have a really severe allergy, that could potentially be life-threatening and really dangerous. So I know that's outside of weight management just a bit, but for us, it's even further than weight management. It's about a transparency issue. in CPG labels today. And that's something that, really is one of our founding pillars there. And then, yeah, to the weight management side, I mean, I really dislike when I hear high protein is a trend, because yes, I guess you could say that it's trendy, but high protein is science, right? High protein has been proven, and studies show that a high protein diet is, a superior diet for weight management, weight loss. So yes, all of our products are high in protein, they're low in sugar, low in net carbs, and as simple and clean as we can get, while still ensuring that taste.
As a consumer, I will tell you, it is wonderful to hear and know that the product exists, right? So my wife doesn't eat meat. I have the whole weight management situation. And then we have 4 children, who some of which have allergic reactions to certain things. It is really wonderful to find a product all in one place that can solve all those problems, that you basically just think about what your favorite flavor is, not so much about having to worry about, let me reread this label 12 times, because like you said, and I read that too, with the no artificial ingredients and the no dairy, the no wheat, nuts, gluten, soy, egg-free, all of that sort of checks every single box we have to worry about, like when we are out food shopping or whatnot, and you grab something off the shelf, and just because it says the word healthy and low sugar doesn't mean it's healthy, and often low sugar means a little bit less than a lot of sugar, right? Mm-hmm. So you know how that goes. In 2023, I read that OWYN earned the recognition from Instacart as one of the fastest growing emerging brands. So congratulations to that. Tell me a little bit about how you earned that and where that relationship tied in.
Absolutely. I mean, Instacart has been a growing resource platform for, really the pre-shop journey. So when you think about the way that consumers grocery shop today, it's no longer it's not just one option anymore. Like, I walk into the store, I see what's around. You really have to be covering all bases. So Instacart's been a great platform, partner, resource for OWYN. And then when we think about our growth, so traditionally plant-based, especially plant-based protein, has a reputation for just not tasting great, right? Chalky, gritty, and just being like a crunchier palate, like someone who wants something that's going to taste, quote, healthy, and not in a good way. I think, what OWYN's done is we're really changing that perception, because it's both delicious and plant-based. So when you think about, why is OWYN one of the fastest growing brands on Instacart, we're no longer competing in this plant-based category. We're now going out against, larger consumers, to the masses. It's no longer for like a certain subset of individuals, because like you said, like, you can enjoy it, your wife can enjoy it, your children can enjoy it. So it's becoming more mainstream because it tastes good. Let's face it, if it didn't taste good and it was plant-based, it's not going to grow. So That's really a testament to the product. And, same thing with allergy free. I think there's so many amazing brands in the category that are growing in the allergen-free space. I believe there were like 1 or 2 also on that Instacart fastest growing list there. I think this is also, a part of our category that's growing. It used to be crunchy, limited options, potentially make that consumer feel isolated, and they had to eat something special or different. And now it's becoming more mainstream, and we're really looking out for those consumers and making it an inclusive experience. Like when you look at the OWYN bottle, it doesn't say, this is a product for plant-based, allergen-friendly people. Like, if you look at it, it's cool, it's hip, it has fun colors, it's sporty if you look at our Pro Elite line. So I think there's many reasons why we're one of the fastest growing brands. But yeah, I think that's just a few, speaks to the category.
Sometimes CMOs of companies lose sight of the path they're traveling, right? They're caught up in issues and concerns of the day, and they lose track of, the grand plan of where they're going. One of the reasons I love working with you and your team is you are hands-on, right? You are involved from the grassroots up. Anytime that we are talking about doing some kind of a distro, whether it's a one-off pick and pack or a multi-contact send, you're involved from every part of the discussion. That is built from within, right? It's hard to teach people that, right? Like, you're either involved or you're the type that says, yeah, just let me know how that works out, or we'll check the data on that as it goes out. Tell me where that comes from. Like, did you have a mentor? I know you talked a little bit about the owner of the company, but like, how did that progress in your career? Who sort of engaged you on that end to show you that path?
I think one of my strengths as a leader and just as a high performing individual, if I may, is I'm very curious and I want to learn all the time about everything. I'm competitive with myself. And I think, we work with PIMS specifically right now for influencer VIP boxes, which we'll talk about. But for me, that is an industry that I know is changing overnight. We were talking about before how the influencer boxes used to be when years ago, they were called press mailers, right? And that was when everything, if the editors were talking about your brand, that's all you needed. I mean, we saw in the mid 2010s how drastically that shifted, and it shifted to influencers. We're seeing now a shift to community and a shift to really everyone becoming an influencer. Anyone can be a brand evangelist, right? And if I'm not paying attention as the CMO, I mean, I don't know what I have. You can't just be rooted in the data. You have to be rooted in the trends and looking at what's next. I think a lot of that also comes from, yes, being curious naturally, being competitive naturally, but also just working in high growth startups. I've always worked in high growth environments, mostly startups. So for me, I know nothing else than really just like keeping my head on a swivel and constantly being open, collaborative, and really wanting to understand exactly how things are happening.
It's awesome to watch too, because as you are going through this and learning every day, as I am as well. I'm 57 and I've been doing this for 35 years, and I learn something new every day, right? And I know I could probably speak for you as well. Like, this type of industry, you're constantly taking in all the new information so that you can make an educated decision. But on the same vein, you are also an educator, right? I work with your team, and they are working really well in light of your visions, right? They want to make sure that what you say and how you say it is exactly what they're bringing to the table. And in doing that, they're earning their own stripes, right? One day they'll be sitting on Minutes with Mike being the CMO of a company, and they can point to you as leading in that particular specific way has led them to where they're going. So kudos to you as well. You did touch upon the relationship with PIMS, and it's been wonderful. I wanted to see if there was any specific strategy or send out that you've done with us or around this space that has really struck home with you as one that really went over well, that it got a lot of traction on the other end, something that comes to mind.
So we've done a few recent mailers with PIMS that stand out, but I'll pull two examples. And we worked with PIMS to develop influencer boxes as a tactic within our celebrity top tier influencer strategy. So we partnered with, the first one I'll talk about is with Brittany Mahomes. And we partnered with Brittany. The way that partnership came about, every year we make a 6-figure donation to FAIR, the Food Allergy and Research and Education, the largest private donor. We're a partner of FAIR, and we make a donation, and we usually partner with a celebrity to just get that amplification out there. And we were speaking with Brittany's team, and Brittany is, she's many things, but she's also an allergy mom, right? She has children with food allergies, one in particular that they recently had a scare with, like right before we partnered with her. She's also a fitness entrepreneur. She's also, she owns a women's soccer team. And before, many years ago, she had her own fitness program and different fitness programming. So, it was really a match made in heaven there to partner with Brittany. And she's been a huge advocate of the food allergy community for them. So we partnered with Brittany, and we created a sweatshirt. It said Allergenius, and it said outsmarting food allergies since I forget what year we put, but it was like outsmarting food allergies, Allergenius. It was super cute. It was in the teal, which is like the allergy-free fair color, right? And then we also included her favorite OWYN products. And we sent that mailer to friends of Brittany, so VIPs in her community. And the idea there, it's really that anyone could be the next brand evangelist for OWYN. So instead of sending a mailer, like an OWYN mailer to just editors, for example, that get these all the time, they're constantly getting like packages and experiences and VIP treatment, we decided, let's send this to Brittany's friends. Like they're going to be proud of her for having an awesome partnership. They're going to be proud for her advocacy in the space, and they're probably going to want to share it. And we get to introduce OWYN to them. So it's just so many wins across the board. And, that was a huge growth tactic for OWYN. We saw our followers shoot right up on Instagram there. So that was just one way we worked with PIMS. And we did something similar with a celebrity trainer, Ben Bruno. He trains many A-list celebrities from Justin Timberlake to Kate Upton, many NBA players. And we did something similar. We did a Bruno Strong and OWYN VIP mailer. Bruno Strong is his fitness label. We sent his favorite flavors over to them. And yeah, we got a lot of posts and a lot of growth. So again, it's really rewarding like the partners community and getting them excited about the partnership as well. And it just makes it more real. That partnership has legs. It's not just like, here's an Instagram post that we paid someone for. It's really getting involved and giving back to their community and hopefully forming new brand evangelists.
I mean, those are home runs for sure. And tying in with the Chiefs' success on the field and certainly the Mahomes' success on and off the field, it's just was a great idea that just absolutely snowballed and became something fabulous. So kudos to you and your team for that as well. You once said, women in business are good for business. Our impact on culture and profit can no longer be ignored or downplayed. The companies that understand this are the ones that will win in the long term. And that kind of hit home. The president of PIMS is a woman. You are doing fabulous, and a good majority of our clients have women in powers of strength. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about that as the CMO of OWYN and colleagues that you've worked with. How do you feel that's been progressing with women in the marketplace getting the opportunity to do this sort of thing?
Yes. I think, we talk about diversity a lot. And to me, I think all diversity is important and amazing. But it's for me, it's more diversity of thought, right? It's extremely important. And it's not just important because it's morally, right, the right thing to do. We should all, have an equitable space and the opportunity to win, right? But it's also good for business, which is like, what my quote on LinkedIn that you're referencing was all about. So when women are responsible for significant, like big decisions, right? Big budgets, leadership decisions, we bring perspectives and life experiences that are unique to us. And with women, women have always been in the buyer seat when you think about, who's making the decisions for the family and at home and exercising their dollar. But with more women in power, that's only going to grow. We're no longer at home. We're in positions of power. So we have more rights. We have more decisions that we can make. So I think it's important to have that women lead and that diversity of thought to ensure that we're meeting the customers where they want to be met.
Well said. Other products that you can share with us that are either in the planning stages or that you've already recently launched, can you share any with us?
Yes, 2 amazing product launches that just hit stores. So we have the Pro Elite high protein powder, and our Pro Elite high protein shake has been a growth driver for the brand, right? It's a 32 gram, 0 grams of sugar, ready to drink high protein shake. It's crushing it. It's delicious, and it's really picking up. So we've always had a 20 gram protein powder, and it's more of a lifestyle protein powder. But this need to create something that was more focused around recovery, endurance, performance was always there. And it was a huge passion of mine because I love to strength train. I'm, having smoothies all the time, multiple times a week after my workouts. So it's like, we got to get something where people can customize at home and add in their fruits and vegetables and have it be suited for a high performance, more like performance driven versus lifestyle driven. So that just came out in vanilla and chocolate. It's online, it's on D2C, it's on Amazon, and it will be popping up in a number of key retailers this summer. And it's sweetened with monk fruit. And this one, the powder's 30 grams of protein, sweetened with monk fruit, super clean, delicious, very smooth, going back to how plant-based has really changed and innovated over the years. So that is one, and that one, it's getting a lot of love. And then there's another product that I'm really proud of. It's going back to the weight management conversation we were having earlier, it's the high protein complete nutrition shake. And this is one of my favorite products we've ever launched. So we've always had a complete nutrition shake that has balanced macronutrients, which is intended more for a meal replacement because it has more carbs, good carbs, but more carbs, protein, fat, and it's like an equally balanced macronutrient ratio. This one specifically is a high protein complete nutrition shake. So, and by the way, both of the complete nutrition lines have 23 vitamins and minerals, is what makes it nutrition shake versus a protein shake. So yeah, about the high protein complete nutrition, it's got 0 grams of sugar, 26 grams of protein, smooth, delicious, vanilla and chocolate, 3 vitamins and minerals, like I mentioned before. And I think that one's really going to take off. It's only got 180 calories. So you're getting a lot in that bottle for very, like, the macronutrient profile is fantastic. So far we're seeing a lot of love there. And for now, that's Amazon and D2C exclusive.
Anybody watching this can see why we love working with Julia and her team. The energy jumps off the screen. It's fantastic, and we love it. It is that time in the Minutes with Mike for me to give you the lightning round. Julia, that you have no idea what I'm going to ask you, but these are this or that type questions. I want you to tell me what answer pops into the top of your head. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Mountains or beach?
Beach.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Phone calls or text messages?
Oh man, it depends who it is, but probably
Great
phone
answer.
call. Yeah,
City living or countryside retreat?
definitely city living.
Exercise or meditation?
Definitely exercise. I
Couple more.
can't meditate. I tried, but it's just one of those wellness things I haven't quite cracked yet.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
2 more, movies or television series?
I cannot watch movies. I think I have too much energy, like we talked about before. I have a lot of energy. That's why I work in high growth startups. It's very hard for me to sit through a movie. I'm going to have to go with the series.
And lastly, digital planner or handwritten paper notes?
Oh, definitely handwritten.
Me too. Julia,
Yeah.
this has been fabulous. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and all the input. And if you're watching this, if you haven't tried the OWYN product line, it's fantastic. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me.